Hello friends and welcome to YouTube channel Freedom Tech, and in this session what we are going to learn. In this session we are going to install OpenCV, MediaPipe and CV Zone or latest Raspberry Pi bookworm 64-bit version, and then we are going to detect our left hand and right hand, the both hand, and then we are going to track the hand. So before we move to our practical friends, if you learn something from our videos, please consider to subscribe our channel. Okay friends, thank you so much and let's get started. So friends, as I mentioned, we have now latest Raspberry Pi version bookworm, and we are going to install OpenCV, MediaPipe and CV Zone for hand detection and for hand tracking. So for that, first you need to download the repository. I have created a new repository. I will mention the link. Copy paste the link inside the browser, then simply go to the code, click on download zip, and then it will download our zip format repository. As you can see, we successfully download our repository. Just open file manager, go to the downloads. This is what our repository. Right click and then click on extract here. It will extract our repository as a folder. So right click to the folder, then click on cut, go to the home folder and just paste it here. We need to move our repository from download to our home folder. That's why simply cut and paste inside the home. Then just open the repository and just open rpi4.txt file. It will open rpi4 as a text editor. Just copy the command, copy it like this way, copy the command as it is, open terminal and just paste the command inside the terminal and then just hit enter. That's it. Because I have already run the command, that's why it says there is no such a file. But when you install completely fresh version of bookworm your Raspberry Pi, so you need to first copy paste this command which I have mentioned inside rpi4.txt text file. Just copy and paste and hit the enter. Then you can able to run pip3 command. Otherwise there is an error for pip3 command. Simple. So for solving the pip3 error, we need to copy paste this one command. So copy and just paste inside the terminal. So I have already done with this process. So now we have done. Now we can simply run our pip3 command. So first package sudo pip3 install opencv-python. opencv-python. So this is the first package. Sudo space pip3 space install space opencv-python. This is the package and this is the command. Just hit enter. It will install opencv-python on our latest Raspberry Pi bookworm 64-bit version, which I have already done. So as you can see, it says the requirement is already satisfied. So we have done with first package. Now same command, only we are going to install MediaPipe package. So sudo space pip3 space install space MediaPipe. Sudo space pip3 space install space MediaPipe and then just hit enter. It will install MediaPipe on our Raspberry Pi bookworm 64-bit version. This package is also I have already installed. That's why it says requirement is already satisfied. So we install opencv-python, then we install MediaPipe with the help of pip3 command. Now sudo space pip3 space install space CV Zone and then just hit enter. It will install CV Zone on our latest Raspberry Pi bookworm 64-bit version. So this one package also I have already installed. As you can see, that's why it say requirement is already satisfied. So this is how we need to install our packages. So first package is opencv-python, second package is MediaPipe, and third package is CV Zone. Done. So we have done with package installation. So I have mentioned full code inside the repository, as you can see, hand.py. But before we start our code, we need to simply know the points of our hand. So img.png, this is the image, just open with image viewer and it will open our img.png. And as you can see, this is what our hands point, which basically we are going to track with the help of MediaPipe and CV zone. So 0 is basically wrist, then 4 is basically thumb tip, then 8 is basically index fingertip, then 12 is basically middle fingertip, 16 ring fingertip, and then 20 is basically pinky tip. So here it is, as you can see, we have basically 20 points, and we can access all these points separately, mentioning their number, mentioning if we want to access 11 number points, so we need to simply mention 11, then it will access 11 number point. How? I will explain full code step by step, but this is the image which help to know the point number of our hand. So for that I have mentioned img.png file. That's it. So just close it. Now we are ready, and just open hand.py with the help of Thony Python IDE. It will open our code, and then friends, as you can see, we open our code. So here we are going to use our Raspberry Pi 4 camera module. If you don't know how to connect or how to configure the camera module with Raspberry Pi 4, I have already created a video. I will mention video link. Watch video and just connect camera module with the Raspberry Pi 4. Then import CV2, import CV zone, and from CV zone hand tracking module import hand detector. This is the module which we are going to use. From CV zone dot hand tracking module, here it is, as you can see, T is capital and M is capital. So from CV zone dot hand tracking, also H is capital. So from CV zone dot hand tracking module, this is the module, and inside that module we have hand detector. Again H and D is capital. Simple, is really simple. Now we need to call our Pi camera. So for that, from Pi camera 2 import Pi camera 2, and this is the code for accessing our Raspberry Pi camera module. Then detector is just a variable. Detector is just a variable which represent our hand detector. This one, as you can see, H capital and D capital. So import hand detector. So we need to call our hand detector over here. So from hand detector, max hands to detection confidence 0.5 and minimum track confidence 0.5. Simple. So this is the basic method. This is basic method. So we need to simply mention a variable. Detector is just a variable, then our module which is hand detector, then maximum hands to detection level confidence 0.5 and minimum tracking confidence is basically 0.5. Then of course this is the while loop, so we need to simply mention while true. Then we are going to call our Pi camera. So im is just a variable. Im is equal to picam2 dot capture array. This is how we are going to capture a frame. Then we are going to flip our frame. Simple. So then hands and im. This is just two variable, hands and im. Im is basically the frame. So hands and im, and then we are going to use our detector variable, because this detector variable is now represent our hand detector class. So detector is basically hand detector, and then detector dot find hands. This is how we are going to find hands. So detector dot find H is capital. Here it is, as you can see, find hands. Simple. Detector dot find hand. Then we need to pass our img, and drawing is equal to true, means it will draw the points on our hands. Simple. So let me make here like this way. I am going to comment all next code, and then I will show you how it's look like, the basic code where we have full drawing, full points drawing on our hands. So let me comment all these things. I think we have done. Yes, we have done. Now just save the code, and as I mentioned, this is the line, this is the code line which basically draw the points on our both hand, the left hand and the right hand. Simple. So if I save the code and if I run the code, it will start our camera module, and then we have detection. And friends, as you can see, it started camera module, and if I show hands, here it is. As you can see, it's detected both hands, the left one and the right one, with all the points. The red color, the points, you can see there is a small red color circle which is all our 20 points. So this is for left hand and all 20 points. This is for right hand and all 20 points, because inside our repository, as I mentioned, I have mentioned the image file and you can cross check the points. Here it is, as you can see, 20 points. And inside the frame, if I show hand, let's just show one hand, which is the right hand. Here it is, as you can see, there is a 20 red color points you can see in my hand. So this is the 20 points which we have inside the image, from 0 to 20, from wrist to pinky tip. Simple. So let me minimize the image. So we have done with hands detection. As you can see, it's detecting my both hand, the left one and the right one, with all the points. So just stop the code. Now we are going to move for next code. So if here, if I print the hands variable, print hands, and if I save the code, if I run the code, now as you can see, it started our frame. And if I show hand to the camera, inside shell, as you can see, we have list. So the LM list, let me show here what we are going to do for our knowing purpose. Let's just freeze our frame, freeze the frame, and save the code and run the code. So friends, as you can see, it started our frame, and this is the first frame because we freeze the frame. We mention here 0. So if I want to skip the frame, just press space button and it will skip the frame. So now, as you can see, it's detected my hand and there is a points inside the shell. So LM list is the list name, LM list, and this is the points. As you can see, this is all 20 points. This is all 20 points, and the center point and the type is basically right, as you can see. So here we have both hands, the left one, also the right one. So here simply we are going to create the condition. If the length of hands is equal to 2, means if we have left hands and the right hands, both hands, if it is there, then we are going to do all other things. So for that, simply I have created here a condition. Now we know what we have inside print hands, so there is no need to printing the hands. So if the length of hands is equal to 2, then we are going to mention here new variable, which is the hand, and hands 0. 0 is basically, this is the first list, which is the right hand, and same list which we have for the left one hands. So let me show you here like this way. If I start again the code, and what we are going to do here, we need to start our while loop. Then we can see that there is two lists, one for right hand and then another one for left hand, with all 20 points. So it will start our frame, and then if I show hand to the camera, as you can see, there is a left one and there is a right one. Now this one is the left and this one is basically right. So we have basically two lists, the right, here it is, as you can see, the right and the left one. Here it is, we have left and the right. So we have two lists. So two lists is basically 0 and 1. The index number for the list 0 and 1. So if we want to access the list, separately. So we need to simply mention here hands is equal to hands 0. It will access 0 with all other variable and their coordinates. Simple. So hand is equal to hands 0 list, and inside that we have all the data, as you can see, all the data it will access from 0 list. And next for other hands, for simply change the variable hand 1 is equal to hands 1, the first list 0 and 1. This is the two list index number 0 and 1. Simple. So now we have list, and inside that list we have all our other data. All data means we have all the points which I have already mentioned in this image. As you can see, this is all the points, the 20 points for both hand. So hand, now this hand, inside that hand we have all information. So here simply again create a new variable which is lm list, and this lm list is basically from hand, and inside that we have lm list. As you can see, the lm list. So we need to mention this lm list. Now same way for next hand, the left one hand. So lm list 1, because we mentioned lm list, so we need to change our variable. So lm list 1, again from this hand 1, same way the lm list, we are going to access this lm list, this one. As you can see here, lm list colon all the things, all the data. So if we want to access the data, we need to simply mention this lm list over here in list format, lm list. Okay, it's really easy. Now friends, as I mentioned, suppose if I want to access this 4 number point, so for that, here it is. As you can see, I have mentioned like this way, this cx and cy. So this cx and cy is equal to from lm list, because inside that lm list now we have point. So we need to simply mention which point we access. We need to access a 4 number point. So simply mention 4 number. Here it is, as you can see, 4 number, and then 0. 0 means because there is a x and y, because here it is, as you can see, this is all the circle. So circle, when we say the circle, so circle we have 2 points, cx and cy. Simple. So here the cx is basically 0 from lm list 4 number point. Again that 4 number point we have 2 points, so x or y, we can say simply x or y, or you can call it cx or cy. So lm list 4, inside that we have 0, and the next point is basically 1. So cx and cy is basically, now we are going to mention 4 number point, and there inside that we have again 2 points, which is 0 and 1. Now if I draw the circle, then you will get a better idea. So cu2 dot circle, we are going to draw the circle on our IM, and then cx and cy, and then the radius which I have mentioned 13, and the color blue, and the minus was because we want to fill our circle. So now simply if I save the code, if I run the code, now there is all other points, but the 4 number point is little bit highlight, because we only want to access a 4 number point. So we draw on that point, we draw a circle with 13 radius, and the color for that circle is 255. So if I show hand to the camera, just a minute, there is something issue, it's not accessing the point. Let me check here, cu2 dot circle IM, and oh, because we mention here a condition, friends. What is our condition? If there is 2 hands, so if I show one hand, the code will not work because I am only showing one hand. But if I show both hands, here it is, as you can see, now it's drawing blue color circle on 4 number points. So 4 number point, if you go and check inside the image, the 4 number point is basically this one, which is thumb tip, and it's drawing blue color circle on my thumb tip. Here it is, as you can see. But again, if I show one hand, there is no drawing, there is no blue color circle. If I show right hand, again there is no circle. But if I show both hand, then on left hand, on my left hand, point number 4 is highlighted with blue color circle, because we mention here CV2 dot circle, and we mention I just want to access the 4 number point, so I have mentioned CX and CY from LM list 4 number point, and we have CX and CY means we have 0 and 1. So we can simply highlight our point with the help of CV2 dot circle method. Simple. So same way for next hand, means our left or right hand, we can say. So now if now it will draw, let me mention here a next CV2 circle code also. So now on right or left hand, maybe it will draw another color circle. Here it is, as you can see. So it will start our code, and then we have, as you can see, and as you can see, now we have, let's just change the color. Let's make a pink one. Okay. Now we will get the idea on which hand we have blue color circle, on which hand we have pink color circle. So it will start our frame, and we need to show both hand. So on right hand there is a pink color circle on my thumb tip, and the left hand there is a blue color circle on 4 number point, which is thumb tip. So as I mentioned, this is how we can access a single point separately. We can highlight with the circle method. So now simply let's just say I need to access the 20 number point, which is pinky tip. So here simply I need to mention, instead of 4, mention 20, here also 20, here also 20, here also 20. Then just save the code and run the code. Now on both hand, pinky tip is highlighted. As you can see, on both hand, on right hand there is a pink color circle on my pinky tip finger, and on left hand there is a blue color circle on my pinky tip finger. So this is how, friends, you can access each point separately. Done, we have done. Now we have done with this method. So let me just comment. I have mentioned the full code, so no problem. So let's just comment this code. Now how to know that how many fingers are basically up? For that we have again new method. So again we need to create a new variable, which is fingers1, simple, and from detector, again our variable from detector, fingers U capital up, and we need to mention our hand. So fingers1 detector dot fingers U capital, and we need to mention this hand, because this hand is basically our all the data. So now if you go here and if you print this fingers 1, if you save the code, if you run the code, because we mention if the length of hands is 2, so we always want to show both hand, left one also and the right one also. So it will start our frame, and now inside shell, friends, as you can see, there is a 5-1. So if I down my both left hand, so as you can see there is still 1, means this is basically tracking my right hand, and my right hand all 5 fingers are up. That's why there is a 5-1 in list. At the end, as you can see, there is a 5-1. So if I down my thumb tip, as you can see, there is a 0, and now there is a 4-1. So if I down my all fingers, then there is all 0, means it's tracking my right hand each finger like this way. Now there is a 1, there is a 2-1, there is a 3-1, there is a 4-1, and there is a now 5-1, because I have up all my right fingers. So same way for left hand. Same way for left hand. So we need to mention here same way a new variable, this one, fingers 2, same way. Now it will print, fingers 2, and let me comment the next code line, and then here now there is no need to print the hands. Now simply save the code and run the code. So friends, it started our camera module, and if I show both hand to the camera, as you can see there is a two list, one for left hand and one for right hand. Now on both lists, as you can see there is a 5-0 because our both hands finger is down. So if I up my both fingers up, there is all 5, 1 in both list. So it means it's tracking my each finger separately. So now simply if we want to create a counter, so simply mention the list is equal to fingers 1 plus fingers 2. Simple, list is equal to fingers 1 plus finger 2, and then just create the variable which is count 1 list dot count, and we need to mention here 1 from this list. Here it is, as you can see I have mentioned the list. So from this list we are going to use dot count method. It will count how many 1 inside that list, and of course if I down my both fingers there is a 0, so it will count 1 and 0 from this list. Here it is, if I scroll up, as you can see now there is a 5-0, so it means we can simply count how many numbers of 0 is there right now inside the list, also how many 1 is there right now inside the list. So now simply if we print the count 1, now we can simply get the number. Let me show you here. So it started our frame, both hand. So as you can see there is a 10. 10 means we have 10 fingers up. Right now all my fingers are up. The number is 10 inside shell, as you can see, and then the 0 is basically for how many fingers are down. So there is no down fingers, all fingers are up, and the number of fingers is basically 10. So if I down my one finger, as you can see there is a 9. It means there is 9 fingers up and 1 finger is down. So if I go for 8, as you can see the 8 fingers is up and there is 2 fingers is basically down. Now if I go for all the way down, as you can see there is 5 fingers down and 5 fingers up. Now it will count there is 4 finger up and 6 finger down. Now it will count there is 3 fingers up and there is 7 fingers down. Friends, it means we are tracking our hands perfectly. It's counting how many fingers are up and how many fingers are down. Simple. So now what we are going to do, so now we are going to simply put our both fingers up and fingers down counter on our frame. So for that, simply first we need to mention this count 1 and count 0 here, over here. Before we start our while loop, count 1, of course before we start our while loop there is no count, means there is 0, 1, and count 0 is also 0. So now we can simply mention here CV zone dot put text T capital rect, and inside that we are going to put our text of our counter on our frame. So IM is our frame, and then we are going to mention the counter variable is basically fingers up like this way, and inside that we are going to mention our counter variable which is count 1. count _1, and then the coordinates where we want to put our text. Let's just say 50, 60, and rectangle size is, let's make 2, and text size is also 2. So if I save the code, if I run the code, and as you can see there is a fingers up, right now 0. So if I show both hand, and as you can see there is 10 fingers up, there is a 10 counter, now there is a 9, there is a 8, now there is a 7, now there is a 5, 4, 3, 2, and now there is a 1, again 10. So we successfully mentioned fingers up counter. Now same way, just stop the code, and same way just copy the code. Let's just only change the variable, and we need to mention also the new coordinates. So this we are going to mention fingers down and count 0 and 50, 100. Save the code, and if I run the code, our frame is started, and let's just make 150 because we need to mention a space in both counter. Now it's good. Now there is a counter, fingers up and fingers down, 0, 0. Now if we show hands, fingers up 10, fingers down 0, fingers up 9, fingers down 1, fingers up 8, fingers down 2. Now 7 fingers up and 3 fingers down. So friends, as you can see, we are successfully tracking both hands, and we mention the counter on our frame with the help of OpenCV, MediaPipe, and CV Zone on latest Raspberry Pi bookworm 64-bit version. I hope you will learn something from this video. I have mentioned full code. We will meet our next video. Till then, thank you, take care, and bye bye.